Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Google has found a new way to piss me off.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
May I present to you the cat?
I am the dog. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing.
Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And that's it for today. Caleb's off doing family stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he needs to get his priorities straightened out, man.
Listen, that guy's always, not being here, leaving us high and dry.
To be fair, you don't have any
We've
room
never
to talk.
done that. I know. That's why I was going on with it. It's like, we've never abandoned this at all. Come on.
No, never.
Just kidding. Ever. Anyway, so it's just going to be us two for this week. We got, let's be real. Landon's got a few things he wants to talk about.
And even then, it's on the small side. There's not a lot to talk about this week.
No, there's not a lot. I mean, I was looking through some Microsoft stuff and whatnot, and that's just, it's more rumors and things to happen, as well as, hey, what we said was coming last week happened, the Amazon thing, so it happened. And that's as far as it went, so.
Next week, we will have more news.
Yeah.
Because this week, on Wednesday, the 10th, right? What day? Yes. Sure, one of those days.
10th or 11th, I can't remember.
Yes, Wednesday the 10th. That's when the Samsung Unpacked event is.
True.
So next week, we'll have all sorts of stuff to talk about. So get ready for that, listener.
Yes. And if it'll be a good time to see what's coming with Samsung. If you're looking for a new phone or new whatever, smartwatch, whatever they decide to announce, here they come. What is this, 25? S25s now?
What year
if
is
they
it?
keep going
What
on
year
that
is it,
trend?
Wes?
24.
There you go.
I guess you're right. It does go with that, doesn't it?
Yeah, they changed
Shut
that.
up.
They changed that in 2020. The S20 was the first one of those, and then matches the year after that.
It's true. Yes, I didn't think of it that way. Connect the dots. There you go. All right. Well, let's move on and pretend that, Wes isn't too bad of a terrible host. Apple, you're going to have to wait for Siri to get better. That's the headline.
Yeah. So at WWDC, Apple showcased a whole bunch of stuff with their new Apple Intelligence stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And part of that was Siri, and it was going to be a lot smarter, supposedly, and just a bunch of the AI stuff in general was going to be coming. They did say, well, I don't know if they actually said it, but it was confirmed at WWDC that all of this Apple Intelligence stuff was going to be coming later than we were hoping. We're all hoping, obviously, that it would launch in September with iOS 18, but they did say it's going to be coming a little later than that.
Mm.
And at one point we did hear that it was going to be coming sometime in 2025, but now I believe it is Mark Gurman is reporting that it won't be coming, or it will officially launch in spring of 2025. Now, when exactly that is, we don't know. That could be anywhere from March to May, basically. So,
Yeah.
just keep that in mind if you were hoping or looking at maybe upgrading your phone this year because you were wanting some of this AI stuff built in, because it's only going to work on the iPhone 15 and newer, or actually the iPhone 15 Pro. I don't even know if it works on the iPhone 15 regular, but at least the iPhone 15 Pro and then the upcoming 16 phone this year, you could probably get away with waiting until even the iPhone 17, because
That's true.
at that point, if we're waiting until spring, you're going to have 6 months to wait until that stuff even happens. And even then, at that point, it's like, okay, when it launches, is it actually going to be as good as what they showcased at WWDC? We don't know. So Yeah. Gonna have to wait a little while.
Yeah. Something to think about, though, because,
Yeah.
like you said, who knows if it's going to be as good.
He did also report that the developer beta that will get the new Siri and AI stuff will be in January. So, you know, but that's, again, beta stuff. So, if, like, some of the developer betas you may not want to just have on your phone all the time. But if you're, really itching to have some of this stuff, then I guess that's the way to go. I don't know.
Try it out. Let the rest of us know. Anything more on that?
Nope. That's it.
All right.
That's
All right.
that's all the Apple news for this week.
I was going to say, that's about it. Well, let's go ahead and let's move on to some general tech news. For the life of me, you've got CMF here, and I can't remember what that is.
So, CMF, listener, it's CMF by Nothing. So, Nothing brand that has the phone 1, the phone, the
That's
phone 2,
right.
all those things. CMF is basically their low-end brand, I guess. I don't know. They started.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shoot.
They started last year with. They came out with a watch and some earbuds, but this past week they just announced a new phone, and conveniently it's called the Phone 1. So they're going off the naming scheme of Nothing as well. So the Phone 1, and then they also announced the Watch Pro 2 and the Buds Pro 2. So let's start with the phone, because that's really the most interesting part of this announcement. And most of the time I probably wouldn't talk about any phone like this. It's a $200 phone. It's definitely a low-end type device, but it is really interesting. That's why I wanted to talk about it. So I'll just go over some of the specs. It's got a MediaTek Dimensity 7300 chip, so nothing crazy. It's a low-end device, low-cost, cheap phone. The display, on the other hand, though, is pretty good. It's a Super AMOLED display, 6.67 inches, and it does have adaptive refresh rate on that display. It goes anywhere from 60 to 120 hertz, so not bad on the display side of things. You can get it in either 6 or 8 gigs of RAM, has 128 gigs of storage, and a micro SD card slot, something you don't see very often anymore. A 5,000 milliamp hour battery. It has 33 watt wired charging. It does not have wireless charging on this phone because, again, $200. Keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
It also does not have NFC, so you can't do like Google Pay or anything like that on it, which to some people may not be a big deal. I would not want to not have that because I use Apple Pay or Google Pay on a very regular basis. The software on this is launching with Android 14, and is running Nothing OS 2.6. So it's, if you're familiar with the Nothing phone and how that, like the glyph interface and all that's like the dot matrix interface on their phone and stuff like that, it is basically identical to that. So, and I've heard a lot of good things about that skinned version of Android. So you're going to be getting that same experience here. The front camera is a 16 megapixel sensor, and then on the back, it's got a 15 megapixel sensor, and then it does look like it has 2 cameras, but the other sensor is basically just a portrait sense, like a depth sensor. It's nothing that really matters or does a whole lot. Basically, if you're going to be taking portrait photos, it kind of helps with the, focusing on the subject and blurring out the background. But even then, it's nothing fancy. So it more or less has 1 camera on the back, and it's an okay sensor. It's nothing fancy. It's not going to compete with your flagship phones, but it's good enough for most people in well-lit areas. Once it starts to get a little darker, it doesn't have optical image stabilization, so it's going to be a little more grainy and shaky in those areas, but it is what it is. Again, $200. Nothing crazy. And then the last important thing is the IP rating. It is IP52 rated, so it's It's basically splash resistant when it comes to water. So nothing, you don't want to take this phone near a pool. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Looking at this looks really interesting.
And that, like, the internal hardware is one thing. I mean, it's not bad for a $200 phone, especially the display on this thing is actually really good. But the most interesting part of this phone is if you look at it, so it has on the back of the phone, you can see 4 different screws that are very visible that are meant, like, you can take those screws out and change out the back faceplate of the phone. And they have 3 different colors. You can get it in a dark, like a black color. Let's see. I was just looking at these colors a few minutes ago. Let's see.
Or what they call them. What kind of colors?
Yeah, I think it's just black, orange, or light green. Those are the 3 colors that you can get in this phone. And then I
do see a blue. I do see a blue on this image. Black, orange, blue, and green.
Oh, yes.
You are a dark blue.
Yes, that is true, but like I'm on their website and like it's only showing the 3 that you can buy, I guess, just out of the box, and then maybe that blue one is like a second, like you can buy the backup case, or I don't know. I'm seeing blue too on there, but I don't know why it's not showing. Anyways, the other thing that you will notice on the very bottom corner of the back of the phone is this very noticeable, like, circular thing. It's basically just a thumb screw, and what it's for is for accessories. And yes, you did hear me correct. It's for accessories. And the different accessories that you can get for this phone, they have a stand, like a little kickstand type thing. So you can screw that into that little spot, and then it has a little kickstand, or a lanyard thing. Like you can put a whole lanyard on it, which, okay, I guess if you want to, like, it's not a small lanyard by any means. I'm sure you could probably change it out to be a smaller one.
It literally looks like the size of the phone.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I find the most interesting is it's a card case. It basically, like, it uses 3 of the other main screws and then that thumb screw on the back, and you can slap this little metal plate on the back of it, and then it's got a card case that'll hold up to 4 different cards. But the most interesting part about that is it's magnetic. Like, that card case will slide off the phone if you wanted to. And the thing I like about this the most is that little metal plate. If you look at where the magnets are, it's more or less turns it into a MagSafe type accessory thing. Like, it's a circular magnet. And so, like, some of the reviews I've seen, it works with MagSafe accessories. So, like, if you have any other type of MagSafe product, like a car mount or something like that, then you buy this little thing, take the wallet off of it, and you can use that for different accessories just right there. So it's pretty neat. And it does come with a little tool, like a SIM card ejection tool. And the other side of it is also a flathead screwdriver, which is how you get all the screws and stuff off of it. So it makes it really easy to swap out the back plate, like I said, and then put these other accessories on there. And there might, down the road, come more accessories, either third-party accessories or from CMF themselves. But right now it's just the 3. There's the stand, the lanyard, and the card case. But it's really interesting, and that's why I wanted to mention it, because there's no other phone company doing something like this. It just makes it so you can customize different things. And you can, like it does, like, if you buy different colors of cases and stuff, it does come with that little thumb screw. It does come with a matching part of it, but you can have the orange case with the black thumb screw, or the green thumb screw with the black case, different things like that. You can customize it a little differently in how you want it. So it's pretty cool.
This reminds me of pre-iPhone phones, where you go to a go to the old mall kiosk and you could change out your face plates and you
Oh,
could
yeah.
change out your battery lights and your antennas. That like it really reminds me of that. I used to sell them at the mall. That's why it reminds me of it. Because I'm like, oh wow.
Well, I remember the old Motorola Razr. You could go and buy all sorts of colors of different faceplates for that thing.
Faceplates and make your antenna. I remember the old cell phones that used to have the antennas. You can change them out with little blinking whatevers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. As you were talking, I'm looking at this. This is literally what this is. Like, it's just a few screws, pop that off, throw your new one on. That's actually pretty. I wonder if you could like 3D print this different colors and 3D
that's what
print
I
different
had the
things
thought too.
on top of so you can make your own designs and your own stuff. Like that would be cool.
I think it would be really easy to do something like that because all you need is you just need to get either get the schematics for a case or just get a case and like 3D scan it yourself. As long as you can get the right dimensions, it'd be really easy to print off your own back case, or even you could probably make your own accessories for that thumb screw area, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it would be relatively easy, I think. And then you can have pretty much any color you want, or even like make it like any different shape. And I don't know, there's a lot of different things you could do with the 3D printer to make accessories or cases for this phone.
That would be that would be what would make it fun is you doing that stuff yourself.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I really like it though. Like I said, it's normally a $200 phone probably would not get talked about by us, but because of just how interesting this one is and the cool factor, you know, I had to mention it. It's really cool. I really like it. I'm glad that some company is doing something like this. It used to be like the thing that it made me think of the most was Motorola. Like when was it? Like 2014, I think. They came out with the Moto X, and they had the Moto Maker that you could customize the phone on the website, and you could customize the back plate, the buttons. Like you could even have it so when you turned it on, your background, like your wallpaper and everything, was already set to how you wanted it. And they had the option for like you get a leather back or a wood back or plastic. Like they had and different colors. Like, and I knew multiple people that bought the Moto X from Moto Maker based on my recommendation because the phone itself was really good. But then also they loved the customability of it. Like I knew somebody that got one of the ones that had the wood back on it. It was rad. It was so
That's
cool.
awesome. That is awesome.
So that's what this reminded me of. It's obviously not as customizable as that, at least not out of the box, but it's easier to swap things around. Like the Moto Maker, like that, you could customize the crap out of that phone, but once you had it, you couldn't really change much on it. This one, you can change things on it a little more easily, and it's just really cool. I really like it. So that's why I had to mention the phone specifically. I really like. And then I want to just briefly talk about the Watch Pro 2 and the Buds Pro 2 that they also announced at this thing. The watch is somewhat customizable? ? Like it does come in different colors. Like it's got like a your normal silver aluminum type color and then a black color as well. But like this watch is not running Wear OS, is not running any Android type stuff on it, so there's no third-party apps. So keep that in mind if you do want to get it. It does have basic fitness stuff, so it does do blood oxygen levels. It does do heartbeat and step counter and stuff like, just basic type things like that. But it starts, or the price on it is only $69, which is really nice for a smartwatch. They're also claiming it can get 11 days of battery on this watch. So
wow,
that's pretty cool. And then the customizability that I was talking about is the bezel, like the metal bezel around the top, around this display and stuff. You can swap that out. There's two different bezels that they have. One that's a little more rounded and one that's a little more flat. So depending on what you want, you can swap those in or out. I don't know how much each individual one costs, or if it comes with both of them, I'm not sure. But that's nice. Also, the bands, it does look like it has a very standard band that you can easily swap in and out. Like they've got a few different bands you can choose from, but you can also just buy watch bands off Amazon for pretty cheap and swap those out really easily. So that's the Watch Pro 2. Then the Buds Pro 2, nothing really fancy here. They do have active noise cancellation. They're $59, so relatively inexpensive. The biggest upgrade, if you're familiar with the first Buds Pro from CMF, this has better noise cancellation, so they are claiming it now blocks out up to 50 decibels of sound. The previous ones were 45 decibels, so it's a little bit better. And they are claiming improved sound quality on these as well. The other nice thing, I guess, on these ones, if you have a CMF phone or a Nothing phone, they do have ChatGPT inside. Like you can access ChatGPT instead of like Google Assistant or something. You can use the AI assistant that's built in with those phones that is ChatGPT enabled. So I guess if you're really into that, then these earbuds have that made or built into them. Kind of cool. Like I said, $59 for the Buds, $69 for the watch, and $200 for the phone. And I really like what they're doing hardware wise on this phone. I don't know if I would buy one just because the camera is not going to be nearly as good as other cameras, but the phone itself is still pretty cool. So if you're in the market and that's the budget phone that you've had in the past, you're looking to upgrade, then maybe you look into this one. CMF by Nothing, Phone 1. It's really cool.
Yeah, that actually does look pretty cool. I guess I would look more into it as kind of a fun thing to build stuff for.
Yes, definitely.
I really do. Even maybe those face plates. I think that would be kind of for the watch. That'd be kind of fun if you could figure out how to like a bezel I don't know, something that came to my mind was actually engraving or something on there that's in Elvish or whatever it is of Lord of the Rings, what the ring has on it.
That would be cool.
Put it on there.
That would be cool.
And then somehow whenever it lights up or it comes on, that's what it'll light up. I don't know. Sorry, my mind went that way. And I was just like, oh, that would be kind of cool to customize that way. So
that would be cool.
I don't know. It's kind of like we've been out of remember, like I was saying with the cell phones before the iPhone, it was like you'd have all the customization in the world. Yeah. And now it's just, here it is. And so it's gone. So now it just kind of piqued my interest. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays the main way to customize a phone is by getting a different case.
Yeah. Or a color.
Yeah.
Like, here's your color.
Well, even then, there's
case.
not like most companies aren't offering a wide variety of colors even. So it's like you can customize like the wallpaper and the case, and that's how you make your phone yours. But this one, there's a little more options there, and I really like that.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. At first, I'm like, okay, whatever. And as I was really looking at it, I'm like, man, if I had a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, listener, guess what? Amazon and we talked about it. Amazon and Microsoft, they talked about what we talked about, that they were announcing that you can have cloud gaming. And guess what? You can now have cloud gaming on the Fire Stick now. Yay. And that's the gaming news we have.
That really care.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I mean, and I wonder, see, cloud gaming, I wonder if we're just not in that norm. Obviously, you don't game at all, but
hey now, I play mobile games on my phone.
But I mean, I've been hearing that people have been liking cloud gaming more and more, and have been doing it more and more. But I'm just not in that circle. But so I think it's pretty cool, like for those
yeah, I
people,
mean, I do really like that companies, especially, I mean, Microsoft is definitely pushing this more than Sony is, but I like that they're making it easier to play games. Just they're going to the people rather than making people come to them, which has always been the case forever. It's like you have to buy this console or this computer or this software in order to play our game. Whereas now, Microsoft especially is like, well, you know what? We're going to make it so you can play our games where you're at. Like the device that you have will work. You might have to buy a controller, you might have to do this or that, but they're making it relatively easy to get into playing their games. And that's what I really like to see from these companies, making it easier, because not everyone, I mean, I'm the perfect person for something like this, because I'm not going to go out and buy a console. I'm not going to go buy an Xbox. I'm not going to go buy a PlayStation. If I'm buying something like that, it's going to be a Nintendo. So, because that's the type of gaming I am into. But if I had, like, I've got a Roku TV. I don't know if it works on there yet, but if it did, that would be the easier way for me to just go, okay, I can just go buy a controller and get into it this way. I don't have to buy a console.
True.
I spend $60 on a controller, which is still ridiculous, but I can go buy a controller and then just pay for xCloud or pay for games that way and just stream them through my TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it just makes it a lot easier. And then down the road, if someone were to do that, they get into it, they really like it, they want a little bit better experience, then they'll buy the next generation of console or something like that down the road, you know? And then that eventually will start getting them more into these games and stuff like that. So I like the companies are doing this. It's very nice.
I also in the research of looking at cloud gaming and stuff like that, I also heard it's territory areas, not so much in the US, but it's also areas that say they have big tariffs on goods and things.
Yeah.
To where like consoles are more like, they're not the $500-$300, they're more like $1,000 or something. So if they've already got a TV, like a Samsung TV or I was gonna say Roku, but Amazon Fire Stick, they could just play games that way, you know. And it's like, oh, $15 a month. Oh, okay, that works better than paying $1,000 for a console.
Yeah.
So I can also understand that's also could be a location thing too. So.
Yeah, and the other thing dependent on that is how good your internet service is, because you're gonna want to have relatively decent internet for something like this. So that's the only downside to this type of scenario, is if you are in a location that doesn't have great internet, this is going to be harder to do. But
True.
For a lot of people, this is still going to be a good option.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's pretty much all the gaming news that we have this week. I know that Gamescom's going to be coming next month, so there'll be a lot more for there. I'm assuming, unless it's little trickles of things here and there, but I'm assuming that's probably when most of the gaming stuff will be coming out, unless obviously PlayStation has something, or Nintendo. They're kind of they just announce things whenever they want, so because they're Nintendo. So, but we'll keep up on that, and then anything for PC or anything else, we'll definitely keep up. So I'm going to assume we don't have any Doom news. I actually did try to look up anything just in case. I know Spenlove's not here and that's his stuff. I actually wanted to see if there was some Doom stuff, something cool, but nothing too much there. So I think this is going to be the end of the episode, unless, Landon, do you got one more thing for us?
No.
I didn't think so. Well, listener, we appreciate you listening, and I think this might be our shortest episode yet. Well, excluding our 300th episode, which was only, 7 minutes?
About 8,
of AI.
This is definitely one of the shorter episodes, yeah.
We appreciate you listening. You can get a hold of us if you want to on social media platforms, as well as callingallplatforms.com. Caleb did put up a video on the website or on YouTube if you want to go check out our YouTube channel there. All right, dear listener, have a good week.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.